talk about what this might look like in government slashing? Does this mean firing people? Trump just said it. Or is it more about cutting out waste? What say you?
I say happy birthday, Bob.
Oh,
and,
thank you.
And a memorable Veterans Day to our dear veteran friends. Well, I'll tell you what it means. It means that Trump keeps his promises and that the deep state, which all the media said was ludicrous, these conversations that these people are having with the press behind the scenes are proof that the deep state is not only existing, it's been around far too long. And what's going to happen is people are going to be fired. People are going to be reorganized out of jobs. Budgets are going to be reduced. Jobs are going to be eliminated. I hear that some of these people are trying to unionize in the Justice Department, certain levels of lawyers. They can unionize all they want. That's going to not do them any good if there isn't any money to fill their jobs. So I think Trump's right on it. He's got to have a real strong attorney general, though. He's got to get somebody in there that isn't afraid of the career people.
That's a great point. Vic, any predictions on attorney general?
No, I want somebody strong, just like Joe said. It can't be like, I can tell you one reason why Mike Pompeo did not get a position. It's because when we were getting reports about Ambassador Yovanovitch in Ukraine, and Trump wanted her fired, Pompeo wouldn't do it because she was the head of the LGBTQ community at the State Department. He was afraid of people in the State Department, and he didn't take the helm. That's an inside story, but I've been telling it for a few years.
That's why he didn't get to be Secretary of State.
That's why he didn't get to be Secretary of State. So you've got to have somebody that's not afraid of the career people. And I don't believe that all these career people are leaving, because the mentality of the Democrats is they like institutions. I separate them from people like Chris Wray, who would have been out day one if Trump had won in 2020, and will be out on day one if he hasn't already resigned.
Certainly love big government. It seems to be the case here. We want to switch to this, Joe, turning to some reports that are suggesting Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor will not be caving to the pressure. So they're going to force her out so Joe Biden can get the appointment before Trump steps into office. Your thoughts on that?
It's not going to happen. And she's leaking to her position by having some friends talk to the press. This shows you how really stupid the Democrats are. The last thing in the world you do when you want to get a Supreme Court justice to step down is conduct a public assault on them, that they're too old and they're too infirm, so they should go. Sotomayor is a proud Latina, as she likes to call herself. She's not going anywhere. And another strategic and tactical disaster by the Democrats. They've destroyed themselves. Good for them.
Let me just add something of judicial history, because Joe and I have lived this when we were in Washington for decades. And that is, the first Latino who should have been on the Supreme Court is Miguel Estrada. But guess what? The Senate filibustered him, led by none other than Joe Biden. The first black woman who should have been on the Supreme Court is Janice Rogers Brown, who was on the D.C. circuit. And when she was on the short list by George W. Bush, guess who said he would filibuster her? Joe Biden. And when Mitch McConnell was the first Senate leader not to hold a hearing for a nominee, guess who created the rule? Joe Biden, in the final year of George W.'s presidency, when the Democrats ran the Senate, and he said, "Hey, if there's a vacancy in the Supreme Court, you're not going to have a hearing." We know this history. The Democrats have played political ball with the Supreme Court for years. Now, do they want to expand the number?
Well, that's just it. That is the big question. What will happen here? Another thing I want to point out to everybody, when it comes to D.C. and the 3 electoral votes, Kamala Harris got 92.5% of the vote. You want to talk about the swamp and draining the swamp? I mean, it's all Democrats, the whole thing. So clearly,
what kind of jury do you think you're going to get in D.C. if you're a Republican? Answer: not a good one.
Not a good one.
Not a friendly one, without a doubt. Joe diGenova, Vic, good to see you both.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you both. 37 big ones. How
All
about
right.
that?
Happy birthday. Wow.